Okay. Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Tigers win, Tigers win. LSU pounds Kentucky 16-6 in game one. This one was pretty easy to understand and to see how it was going to go from a relatively early point in that game. Paul Skeens did allow a run in the top of the first, but LSU responded with a 6 spot in the bottom of the first, including a grand slam. I can't. Also, what happened in the first, for those that missed it, they intentionally walked Dylan Cruz to get to Tommy White, who hit a 2-run double. Then LSU would load the bases, and Jordan Thompson would hit a grand slam. I don't understand loading the bases for the nation's leader in RBI. I'm sorry, or walking Cruz to get to the nation's RBI leader. It is definitely a pick your poison. It's a pick your poison for sure with this LSU lineup. So the Tigers put up a 6 spot in the first. Then Braden Joubert hits a grand slam in the second, and you're up 11-1, and that's all Paul Skeens. I mean, all Paul Skeens was going to need was the 6 spot. But I guess maybe the interesting part of it, so Skeens goes 6 innings. He does allow 5 runs on 7 hits, struck out 13, walked just 1. And I know you could look at the run total that he allowed, the 5 runs, the 7 hits. So a couple of the hits, I don't know that any of the hits are really hit hard. One was a bunt single that Tommy White kind of misplayed. One was a ground ball to Jordan Thompson at short that he kicked, but they ruled it a single anyway. Should have been an error. One was a roller back up the middle that hit the mound and kind of kicked off of Skeens. I guess nobody hit him hard, but what was apparent is when LSU got the big lead, it was, okay, Paul, you don't need to throw 102. Just put the ball over the plate. They're going to hit it a little bit. They're going to get themselves out. Just kind of let's get through this game here and preserve, run rule and preserve the bullpen for the next 2. Okay. Well, I don't know if y'all weren't watching. I don't blame you at all if you checked out. Kentucky apparently got very chirpy. And maybe that's just their style because they are sort of a pestering type of offensive club where they'll do anything to get on. I mean, they were down 11 runs and they were literally, sacrificing and safety squeezing guys. And it's like, come on. And again, it's how you play, but it's how they play their game. But man, and you could tell Skeens got really PO'd, and he ended up flipping the switch back on, and he struck out the last 5 batters he faced. And every time he did, he's looking into the Kentucky dugout. He's barking at the batters. He's doing the thumb over the shoulder to get out of here thing. You could tell, people may look at that stat line with Skeens allowing 5 runs and 7 hits. You would be deceived if you didn't watch the game. The velo dropped. The stuff wasn't as sharp. He was just it was literally, hey, Paul, look, you don't need to be max effort. Just put it over the plate. Let's get through this one. But when he turned it back on late, it was like, okay. Anyway, so good night. The real disappointment, of course, is that Gavin Dugas injured a shoulder. Very reminiscent to what happened with Cade Doty last year at Vanderbilt, just going the opposite way. Cade's injury, he was laying out to his left, going toward first base. Gavin was laying out to his right, going towards center field. It was a soft liner up the middle. He left his feet, leaped for it. didn't catch the ball, and when he came down, obviously his shoulder popped out. He was just rolling around, writhing in pain. I know the TV broadcast guys, I think Burke was saying he thought it was maybe a rib because he was doing this. Well, he wasn't doing this to hold his rib. He was cradling his shoulder. So Ben DePolt went in at second base, and I presume he'll get the start there today. Look, this happened with Tommy White, remember, and the one thing that changed is, when Tommy White first came back, first game of the season, remember his first AB, he singled and then diving back to first base, his shoulder popped out. Now, when he came back, he DH'd initially before he was comfortable enough playing third. So I don't know, with Gavin, it was his glove arm, not his throwing arm. So that's one good thing about it, where, it's not going to affect his ability to throw the ball. But, if you decide to DH Dugas until he can get back in the field, whenever he's ready to swing a bat, because presumably he'd be ready to swing a bat before he'd be ready to throw and play in the field. If you decide to DH Dugas, then you sacrifice a bat somewhere in the lineup. That most likely means Morgan stays in left, and then you play Beloso or Jones at first, depending on if you want a lefty or a righty in there. But man, that's disappointing. After Kling's injury on Tuesday night, now Dugas is injured. They're dealing with Shores and Edwards, those injuries, which, let's be honest, guys, I don't think you're going to get either of those guys back this year. You got to assume worst case scenario with those two. You already lost Grant Taylor. The injuries are mounting for this team, man. That's it's definitely a bummer. And Gavin, at your table setter at the top of your lineup, veteran player, wearing the 8 jersey. You're glad it doesn't seem more serious. You're going to be able to get him back, but. Tigers win game 1, 16-6. Game 2 tonight. So I know they considered playing a doubleheader today. Jay Johnson did say after the game that they're keeping the schedule as is. My guess is that has a lot to do with TV. But anyway, so they'll keep the schedule as is, and Tigers and Wildcats will play game 2 tonight, and then game 3 is scheduled for Saturday. Hopefully they can dodge all the rain showers and get this series and get all 3 games in. 6:30 tonight, then 1 o'clock on Saturday is the scheduled first pitch. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Kirk Taylor, good morning. Anything new on Dugas? No, nothing. Not since last night. Jay said after the game, the trainer said it didn't look serious and it was a shoulder. So, it's pretty clear. His shoulder popped out. So, let's see if we can get an update today. Alexandro Gomez, good morning. Craig Dugas, good morning. Or Dugas. Yeah, Kentucky was celebrating getting on base down 10. Yeah, and that it just reignited the fire in Skenes. Earl, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Bubba Smith, Samuel Merrifield, what's going on? Matt, it's things like this that proves how good a team really is. I believe LSU will be fine. The buildup of depth is why Johnson is the best coach in the country. Or best recruiter, but yeah. Robbie White, good morning. I know they never do it, but theoretically, Dugas could DH for Nepal for Skenes starts and let Skenes hit. Yeah, they're not going to do it. It was funny though, Robbie. They did. If you're watching the game on ST Network, the post game interview with Tom Hart and Chris Burke, they asked Skenes if he's kind of been lobbying Jay to hit, and he said, "Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do it, man." You just look, considering all the injuries you have. Considering all the injuries you have, you just can't put yourself in a scenario where Skenes gets hit on the hand, or you just can't do it. Peter Adams, Final Four on the floor. Yeah, man, congrats to the gymnastics team. They advanced out of the regional finals, so the 4 on the floor is on Saturday at 3 o'clock Central. I'm almost positive it's 3 Central. So hopefully by the time LSU is polishing off a sweep of Kentucky, the Tiger Gymnasts are going for a national championship. So, Final Four on the floor on Saturday. Chance to win another natty. Lowell Cormier, Deborah Coward, good morning. Come on now. Brian Wynn, Trivia Carter, good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Any baseball injury news on the pitchers? Heard Dugas got hurt. Yeah, so I kind of already explained the Dugas injury. Jay said after the game, shoulder. Trainer said it didn't look serious. It certainly looked serious when he was writhing around on the ground. But, the tricky part about when you have a shoulder separation, your shoulder pops out, is once it happens, you're more prone to have it happen again. Like, that's what happened with Cade Doty. I know Terrio told the story, so Cade's been a traction athlete forever. So, they were working out one time at traction with a med ball. Like, Cade was doing sit-ups, right? So Terrio was throwing the med ball. He'd do the sit-up and throw it back to Terrio. Terrio threw him the med ball, and when he was doing a sit-up, his shoulder popped out. That was Cade Doty. So when Cade had the separated shoulder last year, you knew exactly what it was. Because once it happens once, it's just easier to happen again and again and again. So get Gavin back when you can. Again, the good news for LSU is, after this week, the schedule lightens up considerably. You go to Ole Miss, they're a dumpster fire. You get Bama and Auburn and Mississippi State and Georgia. I mean, your schedule lightens up considerably. So you should be able to give him time to get back, get back in the flow. Wendell Norman, Baby Bobby, good morning. Colton Mack, Matt, thanks for all the content daily. Should we be hitting panic mode with all the injuries we are taking to keep players in positions? Well, Colton, I would tell you, man, so look, losing Shores and Edwards, that's pretty devastating, because those were two arms, I would say the top two arms you were counting on out of the bullpen. So now Griffin Herring's emergence is really good, and Gavin Guidry's emergence helps, and you're probably going to get Javen Coleman back. But yeah, I mean, you're going to need guys to set up. The most important thing I would tell you is you need Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd to be Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd, the guys you thought they would be when the season started. Because if they're not, then I don't know how this team can win a national championship. And that's the goal. Larry Garner, Damon Gilmore, PTG Toasty, good morning, happy Friday. Nicholas Cantrell, Tim Gotro, good morning. Brett DeGrow, morning, Matt. Any word on if we play 2 games today, these injuries trying to derail a championship caliber team? I would still argue the thing derailing the championship caliber team more so than the injuries is Floyd and Hurd. Because if Floyd and Hurd pitch like they're capable, you've got plenty of depth on the team to make it. The injuries to Shores and Edwards, I don't think LSU is ever going to announce it, because Jay just doesn't. But I think it's a safe assumption to say you're not going to see Shores or Edwards the rest of the year. Read into that what you will. Nick Newbill, good morning, Matt. I don't follow Kentucky much. Did they reverse pitching? Do they gamble to take a second game, toss the aces on third, try to take the series? So, Nick, they don't really have an ace. They don't have a true dominant front of the rotation guy. So what you're saying, reverse pitching, you mean do they pitch backwards? So sometimes teams will do that, where they'll hold their best guy for game 2 or 3, essentially conceding game 1 unless if things really go your way, right? So that's kind of what they did yesterday. What maybe the most interesting part of it, Nick, is that they have a pitcher named Zach Lee who started every weekend series so far this year, and is not starting. I mean, they left Friday TBA, and then Saturday, Sunday they've listed their starting pitchers, and he ain't one of them. So I don't know if they're just preserving him for a bullpen role this weekend, or if they have some other approach they're taking. So I really don't know what Nick Mingione is trying to do there, but with Zach Lee and not throwing him. But Logan Martin's going to throw today. He's been a weekend guy for them. And then Tyler Bosma is going to go in Game 3 against Christian Little. So they've got a couple of guys in their bullpen who have been starters for them this year that can extend if they need them. And my guess is the thought was they were going to end up playing a doubleheader and they might have needed all those arms on one day. But that's just a guess. I don't know. Let's see. Smash that like button if you would. Thanks for watching. They're on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Hunter Broadhead, good morning. What happened to the Yankees last night? Gave up a 9 spot in the first. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Come to you live from L.A. All right. See what Bourbon City of Angels has to offer. How was the smoke? I've not popped it open yet, Cliff, but when I do, you'll be the first to know. Read rule. Happy Friday, Scone. Doesn't essentially concede in Game 1 send a demoralizing message to their team? Not really, Reed. I mean, I think it's realistic. Like, here's the thing, Reed. And I know I say this to y'all often, and this is a good point about what happened last week in Game 1 with LSU, where a lot of LSU fans got ticked, said Jay gave up, quit, whatever. The objective in baseball isn't to win a game. It's to win a series. It's to put yourself in a position to host a regional. Like, all these things matter. So what's the bet? You don't go all in to win one game. That's always been my point about the midweek games. Like, it's not about winning that game that day. And I know that's counterintuitive because, of course, you want to win every time you play. But you don't sacrifice a weekend for one game. So you say, okay, what's the best case scenario for my team to get out of this weekend and win a series? And that's what you try to do. So no, it's not demoralizing. You do what you have to do to give yourself the best chance to win a series. It's baseball. You play the odds. Like, when you could argue, when you pinch hit for somebody, is that demoralizing to that hitter? Are you telling him that you don't trust him? Or are you playing the odds to say, you're a lefty, we want a righty up against this guy in this spot because you're playing odds? I mean, that's how, it's just how it works. Let's see, Zachary Moe, Ryan Pike, Matt Plavidal. I'm sure the issue is we don't follow other teams, but seems like LSU Pelicans Saints are injury bitten. That's certainly part of it, Matt. I mean, it's the old you can't see the forest through the trees thing. I mean, look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I mean, Hunter Elliott was as big a part as anybody of their national championship run last year. I mean, he was their ace. I mean, he became their ace at the end of the season, the lefty. He's done for the year. I mean, that's absolutely crushing to them. Jesse Brown, morning, head on a Disney cruise. We'll miss morning Scone for about 7 days. All good, dude. Enjoy the cruise, man. Hope you and your family have a great time. Jason H., Jonathan Martin, what's going on? Matt, did you see the Sneakers app was having another shock drop for the lost and found Jordan 1s? I did not. Thank you for the heads up. I will absolutely check that out as soon as we finish this. I just have a couple more minutes, y'all. I got to get rolling here this morning. Dane Bergeron, good morning. Antron Hemingway, good morning, Matt. I will tell the fam, good morning. Thanks, same to you and yours. Let's see, Brett DeGrow, do we have time constraint for Saturday if weather's a factor? Yes, remember, you only have 3 days to play 3. I'll keep saying this as long as I need to, but it's an SEC rule. Once the series starts, you have 3 days to play 3. So they're not playing a doubleheader today. They've got to get the game 3 in on Saturday. You cannot extend it to Sunday, even though this was a series that started on Thursday. You've got 3 days to play 3. So, and I will tell y'all, like I will tell you candidly, yesterday as I was starting AFR at 3 o'clock, and of course we're an LSU Sports Radio Network affiliate, so we need to know these things for scheduling purposes. But the word yesterday at 3 o'clock was they were going to play a doubleheader today. And Chris Blair even mentioned it on the radio broadcast early in the broadcast last night. So something happened, something changed where they decided, I don't know if the forecast changed or whatever, they feel like Saturday's, they got a better window now to get in on Saturday. I don't know. But, yeah, they've got to get the game. They got to get game 3 in on Saturday. Jeff Hawk, good morning, man. Great to see you here this morning. Hope KC's treating you well. Weston Weaver, good morning. Maybe late to the game. I noticed I have interactive emojis in the chat. Okay. Reed, who's your NBA Finals pick? Boy, it is really hard to pick a team out of the West. I mean, the West has been such a cluster all year. I mean, I'm inclined to say Phoenix because, I mean, they made the trade for KD, and I'm inclined to say Phoenix. I wonder what Denver would have been able to do last year without the Murray injury, but I'll go Phoenix and Boston. Okay, I gotta bounce, y'all. Let's see. A few more. Let me jump back here to Facebook, make sure I miss anybody. Charlie Cavell, good morning. Kirk, don't know why coach isn't doing mass subs late in the game, up 10. Why is Dugas in the game at that point? I'm not. Come on, man. Like, if I'll put it this way, Kirk, if you weren't thinking it at the start of the inning, then that's just a comment with the benefit of hindsight. I love you, brother, but like, if at the start of the inning you weren't like, why is Dugas out there? Then you can't come back with the benefit of hindsight after an injury and say he shouldn't have even been out there. Like, none of us had a problem with him playing second base in that. Why was Dylan Cruz in center? I mean, because he's your center fielder. David Bass, I enjoyed the hand gestures by Skeens at the Kentucky batters. David, if you enjoyed that, then you have to enjoy it when other people do it to you, when they smack talk and trash talk and bark at the dugout and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm good with it, right? Y'all know I love trash talk. I love bat flips. I love touchdown celebrations. I love dudes dunking and hanging on the rim. Like, I'm all for it. I don't think that's a sportsmanship thing. I think that's have fun and celebrate thing. So I'm with you, David. Like, I'm with you. But remember, if you're going to be okay with Skeens doing it, then when other people do it to you, you got to be okay with that also. I do love it though, man. When he gets fired up, big old dude, just staring into the dugout. Every time he gets a strikeout, he's like, get out of here. Chump. I love it. So good. Michael Thacker, morning Scone. Is there a chance Gidry plays some infield if Dugas ends up missing real time? There's a chance, Michael. I mean, especially if they feel like Gidry's a better bat and they want to get him in the lineup over Napolt. But my guess is Ben Napolt's going to play second. So you put Napolt in there at second. You change the lineup. I mean, Napolt probably bats 8th or 9th. So, I mean, you're obviously not going to lead him off. So what do you do at lead off? It'll be interesting to see. Maybe, honestly, I would look at leading off Beloso. Very similar in terms of Gavin Dugas. Gives you a good at-bat every time, competitive AB. He's got power to run the ball out of the yard, can hit to all fields. He can work a count, take a walk. He obviously wears them. So, as weird as that sounds, I'd probably lead off Beloso. And then leave everything else the same. Beloso, Morgan, Cruz, White. And then I put Joe Bear in the 5-hole protecting White. And then I'd go Jones, 6. Thompson 7, Napolt, Milazzo, or Neal, or flip them. Neal, Milazzo 8, Napolt 9. That's probably how I would line it up. We'll see. All right, y'all. It's 8 o'clock. I got to get going. My apologies for running out here quickly. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. They're the best. Need a roof, give a shout. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Also, big shout out to Crystal Poche at Restored Motions and ProCharge EV. Again, a reminder. If you click the link that's pinned, ProCharge giving away 3 EV chargers this month. You got to just click the link to register. It's for any business or commercial building. It doesn't matter if you're a a grocery store, a law office, a car wash, a supplement store, a pizza joint, a restaurant, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what your business is. Any business or commercial building, ProCharge is giving away 3 free electric vehicle or EV chargers at the end of this month. So apply there online or enter online at that link. And if you don't own a business but know someone who does, send them that. Click that link and send it to them. Say you should fill this out. Okay. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for being there. We'll see you for AFR. LSU Daily. We'll see. No, LSU Daily is not live because the game hadn't finished yet. I'll get it done later. AFR 3. Peace.